Hello, I'm here with Ben Kepes, industry commentator. Ben, thank you for taking the time.
Thanks for inviting me.
So Chef is one of many vendors in this DevOps space as it is, and there's lots of different perspectives and opinions about what DevOps is, isn't. Let's cut to the chase. Where's the BS, and how do you see what DevOps really is about?
So it's super interesting, and as you say, every vendor is selling a DevOps product. But at the end of the day, to me, DevOps isn't about a product. It's not even about technology. It's about culture. It's about the way of doing things within an organization. And I really think that in 10 years' time, we're not going to be talking about DevOps from a technology perspective. And my aim, my hope is that organizations will all be agile, will all be doing innovative stuff, and will all be using these themes that we're sort of classing as DevOps today. But we won't have the need to be calling something DevOps because it'll just be the way things work.
It'll be the standard operating procedure.
For sure.
So you spend tons of time talking to all sorts of different folks in the industry. You're deeply immersed in what's going on. What's really interesting to you right now?
So for me, what's really interesting is this tension that we have right now in terms of, we're all technologists, we're all in the technology industry, we all drink the Kool-Aid, we all think everyone's at our level, and we all kind of use language that we all understand, but not everyone else understands. So what's really interesting for me is that tension and seeing how this stuff works out in the real world. And we saw some fantastic examples today and yesterday, Alaska Airlines and Westpac Bank and those sorts of things. But those are still early adopters. So, when the woman running a steel mill somewhere in the Midwest or a manufacturing company somewhere in the Far East, when those people start to do innovative and agile stuff and use these tenets of DevOps, that's really interesting for me.
Yeah, if you sit in the echo chamber the whole time, you're going to sound great to yourself, but you're not taking it out into the world, and you're certainly not seeing what happens when it's applied in real world contexts.
And it's so self-referential. At the end of the day, we say something within the echo chamber, our buddy next door, confirms that that's the right thing to say. And we never take the opportunity to actually go outside, develop the empathy, and actually listen to what other people are saying. And it's, fundamentally, I think that we all in the industry, vendors and analysts and commentators alike, we all leave a lot of value on the table, and we all do a disservice to ourselves and to others. At the end of the day, if we fundamentally believe that technology can make the world a better place, and we fundamentally believe that technology is the enabler of those things, we need to learn ways to connect and to engage with people and not to be exclusive. And it's something that concerns me, annoys me, and there's a big opportunity for all of us to learn how to do that better.
And it sounds like at least beginning with a dialogue, and a dialogue that's open and inclusive in the use of terminology would be a start. But what are some of the other things, what can Chef do, and what can all the participants in not only our community, but more broadly the open source and technology communities, what are some things that you think we really need to start looking at to change the way that we're speaking with each other in a way that opens it up to those that at the end of the day, we need to work to help?
It's really interesting. I mean, I'm guilty of it myself. I do a lot of public speaking, and I often use the examples of Uber and Airbnb and Netflix because they're easy and they're obvious. The problem we have, though, is that most organisations are a million miles from Uber or Airbnb and Netflix, and so we need to find ways to take people on the journey, to take organisations on the journey. And so I actually think spending time within organisations, helping them, ideate, for want of a better word, what their industry would look like in 10 years' time, what the threats are to their industry, where the disruptors are coming from, and helping people go on that journey. Because it's not about, if we simply go into an organisation and say, hey, we can help your IT infrastructure be faster, quicker, better, that's not really going to move the needle. Sure, it makes a difference to, a cost centre, but it doesn't really move the needle for the business.
Awesome. Well, Ben, thank you so much for taking the time, being here at ChefConf this week, and spending some time talking with me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.